Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you? Okay, okay. I was talking a while ago, but yun, hindi ko na-on ang mic. Anyway, yung sinabi ko kanina was, this is the guide for our solution. Itong ax squared plus bxy plus cy squared plus dx plus ey plus f is equal to 0. Okay. Yan ang basis ng ating solution later on. But ng ating solution, but later on, do not be confused if some of my solution would be showing only a portion of this hanggang A, B, and C only because only this values would be needed in our solution since our formula, the discriminant, only includes A, B, and C. So again, this is the entire guide, the original guide, but later on, do not be confused if only a portion of this guide will be shown in the solution. But in submitting your output in your assignment, you have to write the entire guide. Ha? Isulat ang buong guide. Huwag gayahin yung solution natin mamaya. Okay, let's continue. So, our A is 9. Our B, wala tayong xy, so therefore 0. C is equal to y squared, so 25. D is equal to negative 54. E is negative 50. And F is equal to negative 119. We will use here the discriminant. And the formula is b squared minus 4 AC. So, we need only the value of b. So we have b, which is 0 squared minus 4. Value of a is 9. And value of c is 25. So simplify. Naririnig na ako ulit.
Yes, sir.
Minus 4 AC is equal to negative 900. So our answer is negative 900. So according to our guide, if b squared minus 4ac is negative or less than 0, then this is ellipse. Ellipse. The guide for your conclusion is listed dun sa ating module. Okay, stated in the guide. Dun sa module, tingnan nyo lang what would be the conic section if the discriminant is greater than 0, if the discriminant is equal to 0, and if the discriminant is 0. So this positive. For now, since the discriminant is negative or less than 0, then it is ellipse. Question. 1. Please answer me kahit walang tanong para malaman kung andyan pa kayo. Question?
No more po, sir.
Okay, thank you. So again, we are using here the discriminant to find out what kind of conic section is the given equation. Okay, you can screenshot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, next. So the next equation is x squared minus 4y squared plus 10x minus 16y plus 5 is equal to 0. So same method using the discriminant. For example, x squared minus 4y squared plus 10x minus 16y plus 5 is equal to 0. So since the formula for discriminant is b squared minus 4ac, so we need only the values of a, b, and c. And we will use this as our guide. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to 0, and c is equal to -4. So you might ask why b is equal to 0, and the answer is if you're going to look at the given equation, we don't have here a term containing xy. So walang term na may xy, therefore b is equal to 0. For the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, b squared, so 0 squared, a is 1 and c is -4. So b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0. This is plus 16. So b squared minus 4ac is equal to 16. So since we have b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0 or positive, then it is hyperbola. Are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
So this
Yes.
time the discriminant is greater than 0. So therefore the conclusion is the given equation is hyperbola. I hope naintindihan yung ano yung mga sinusolve natin. Given the equation, then gusto nating malaman kung anong conic section yan siya, and the formula na ginamit is discriminant, and through that, after solving using the discriminant, we will write the conclusion, a conclusion kung ano yan siya. And for the guide of our conclusion, indicate, andun yan siya nakasulat sa ating module. So since it is greater than 0, then it is hyperbola. So kanina, less than 0, then ellipse. Okay. Screenshot if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next. I think the given is the same, x squared minus 4y squared. So still the same given in our second example, but this time we are going to solve this using other method. We will not be using here the discriminant, but completing the square. Again, the method that we'll be using now is completing the square to determine if what kind of conic section is this. And comparing to discriminant, this is more not really difficult because I know you can do it, but this is more lengthy, mas mahaba yung solution, at mas marami tayong gagawin dito because it is, completing the square. But this method is used if there are confusions with your solutions dito if you will use discriminant. So again, if after solving the discriminant, after solving using the discriminant, hindi pa tayo makaano ng solution or ng conclusion, then maybe you can use this method in order for us to find out what is really the correct conclusion. Okay. And we will have an example on that later. So for now, same given example number 2, but we will be using completing the square. So take note of the difference, how it is used and how are going to derive a conclusion. The same given, but we will use the completing the square method. So here we're going to regroup the terms. X squared plus 10x, then minus 4y squared minus 16y is equal to negative 5. So we will have x squared plus 10x plus blank. Factor out negative 4. So negative 4 will have y squared plus 4y plus blank is equal to negative 5 plus blank, then minus 4 times blank. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 square is 25. So plus 25. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 square is 4. So times 4. Simplify. This is x plus 5 square minus 4 y plus 2 square is equal to negative, so plus 20 minus 16. So this is x plus 5 square minus 4y plus 2 square is equal to 4. Equate this to 1, so divide by 4. So we will have x plus 5 square over 4. So this is x plus 5 square over 4 minus, so cancel this, we'll have y plus 2 square is equal to 1. As you notice, the answer is of the form, this is of the form x minus h squared over a minus y minus k square over b square is equal to 1. So therefore, this is hyperbola. Question? Question?
None, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Answer.
Thank you. I think what would make more uh, task here is, aside from the lengthy solution, then you have to go back to the standard forms of the different conic sections and compare what kind if what formula is similar to the final equation. So medyo matagal siya. Unlike doon sa discriminant, you will just decide by using if it is positive, negative, or zero. So yun ang kaibahan nila. Okay. Now, yung sinabi ko kanina, I hope na screenshot na, that if you cannot have the uh, final, or if you are unsure of your conclusion of what conic section is that, if you will use the discriminant, kasi sometimes after solving hindi ka makadecide because the different conditions were satisfied. Okay, gaya nito. So if hindi siya makuha doon, hindi ka makapag-final conclusion, then you have to use the alternative solution, which is the completing the square. Okay, ito yung example nun. About 2x squared plus 2y squared minus 5x plus 6y plus 10 is equal to 0. First, we will use the discriminant. So to find the values of a, b, and c, we will use this our guide. Ax squared plus bxy plus cy squared plus, so hindi na natin kailangan yung iba pa, so we will just stick ito sa tatlo. So from ito yung sinabi ko kanina na in the some of the solutions, the entire guide is not shown, and to not be confused, the reason is only these three are needed. But in your assignment, you have to write the entire guide. And you might ask later, if, sir, what method are we going to use in order to solve the problem? If it is indicated in the instructions that you have to solve or using discriminant, then you have to use discriminant only. If it is indicated that you have to use using the completing the square, then use completing the square. But if no method is indicated in the instruction, just solve and example, find what kind of conic section is this. Then you may use whatever solution or whatever method you are comfortable to use. So pwedeng discriminant para mas madali, pwede ding completing the square if gusto ninyong mahirapan. No problem. Basta, hindi siya naka-indicate kung ano ang gagamitin. Okay, so ito na yon. Here, we'll have A is equal to 2, then B is equal to 0, and C is equal to 2. The discriminant is B squared minus 4AC. So this is 0 squared minus 4 times 2, and C is 2. This is 0. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So this is equal to negative 16. So b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. So therefore, So, hindi natin alam kung ano ba talaga siya, ellipse or a circle. So by using now the completing the square method, we will regroup the given equation. So we'll have 2x squared minus 5x plus 2y squared plus 6y is equal to negative 10. So factor out 2. So we will have here 2x squared minus 5 over 2x plus factor out also 2. So y squared plus 3y is equal to negative 10. Okay. If you notice in our first, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you notice in our first example, the answer is discriminant is negative 900. If I can remember it is also negative. And we concluded right away that it was ellipse. Hindi tayo nahirapan. But in this example, since if you're going to look at your guide, if the discriminant is less than 0 or negative, then there could be two possible answers. It could be ellipse and it could be circle. And for it to consider to be ellipse, then the values of pag ellipse siya, then A and C have the same sign. Meaning to say, they are both positive. And if you're going to look, so if you're going to look at now the values of A, B, and C, A and C are both positive. Di ba? Positive 2 and positive 2. So, pwede siyang ellipse. Now, if since pwede siyang ellipse, pwede siyang circle, then you have to consider also the condition for circle. But the condition for circle, A and C should be equal. Dapat pareho. So, A is 2, C is 2. So we are confused if it is ellipse or circle. Kasi both conditions of ellipse and circle are satisfied. Naintindihan? Naintindihan bakit hindi tayo makadecide unlike in letter A in first example? Are you still with me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Did you understand why at this point we cannot, after solving, we cannot give the conclusion right away if it is ellipse or circle? Naintindihan ang part na yon.
Sir, pwede po ulitin, sir.
Sige, ulitin natin ha. Okay, ganito yan. Given the equation, di ba? The discussion focus on determining what would be the conic section. What kind of conic section given the equation. Now, the way of finding the conic section is using the discriminant. Madali lang siya. So our guide would be if the discriminant is negative, then there could be two possible conclusions. Pwede siyang ellipse. Hindi ko siya inano kanina, inelaborate kasi nasa guide yun natin. And since I'm sure or I noticed na medyo na confused tayo, so balikan natin. So if the discriminant is less than 0 or negative, then there could be two possible conclusion. Pwede siyang ellipse and pwede siyang circle. So, tingnan natin ulit ang ating A, B, and C or A and C in particular. Pag sinabing ellipse, then ang A and C natin dapat pareho ang sign. They are both positive or they are both negative. So, dito, nasatisfy niya ang condition ng ellipse. So, pwede na ba, is it safe now to say that it is ellipse? So, tingnan natin, i-check natin ang circle. Ang condition ng circle. Ang condition naman ng circle is if A and C are both equal. Pareho ba sila ng value? E na-satisfy din dito sa ating circle. So that is why we cannot decide right now if it is ellipse or circle because both conditions for the two conic sections were satisfied. Hindi tayo makabigay ng conclusion. Kasi nga na-satisfy. Unlike dito sa letter A, balikan natin ang letter A ha. Okay. Letter A is negative. So, negative siya or less than 0. So, therefore, pwede siyang ellipse, pwede din siyang circle. Kasi yun ang nasa guide natin. If it is negative, pwede siyang ellipse, pwede siyang circle. Now, i-check natin ngayon kung ellipse ba siya or circle. Condition for ellipse, A and C, A is 9, positive 9, and C is positive 25. Ang condition lang to make it ellipse is pareho ang sign ng A and C. And they are both positive. So, nasatisfy ang condition ng ellipse. Now, meron pa mang isa sa circle. Nasatisfy ba ang condition ng circle? To make it circle, then A and C should be equal. Dapat pareho ang value. A is 9 and C is 25. They are not equal. So therefore, it does not satisfy the condition for circle. So therefore, safe nating i-conclude na it is ellipse because A and C have the same sign. Naintindihan yung difference ng example 1 and example 3?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes po.
Okay. Very good. So balikan natin yon sa ating third example. Fourth. Okay. So dito, yun nga, hindi tayo nakapag-decide kasi parehong condition ang nasatisfy. And to make it, para magkaroon tayo ng exact conclusion, if it is really ellipse or circle, then proceed tayo sa isa pang way, which is completing the square. So yun ang ating i-continue ngayon, completing the square. But the same problem. Kung ano ba talagang, what kind of conic section is this? XY is equal to negative 10. So, factor out 2. Okay, by the way, para lang guided tayo. If it is negative, the discriminant is negative, then it could be ellipse and it could be circle. Ang dalawa ay may iba't ibang condition. Ellipse, pareho ang sign ng A and C. Circle, pareho ang value ng A and C. Now, if the discriminant is equal to 0, then it is a parabola. Ang conclusion natin is parabola. If the graph is positive, then the conclusion is it is hyperbola. So less than 0 or negative, ellipse or circle, equal to 0, parabola. And if it is greater than 0, then it is hyperbola. Para guide lang. Okay, continue tayo dito. So we will have here 2x squared minus 5 over 2x plus factor out also 2. So y squared plus 3y is equal to negative 10. As you notice, the numbers here are divisible by 2. So divide by 2. So this will become x squared minus 5 over 2x plus y squared plus 3y is equal to negative 5. Then, find the third by completing the square now. So we'll have x squared 5 over 2 divided by 2 magiging 5 over 4, so squared, so 25 plus 25 over 16 plus y squared plus 3y. 3 divided by 2 is 3 over 2, then square, that is 9 over 4. So negative 5 plus 25 over 16 plus 9 over 4. So, this is x minus 5 over 4 square plus this is y plus 3 over 2 square is equal to, if we will simplify this, negative 5 plus 25 over 16 plus 9 over 4. So this is equal to negative 19 over 16. If you're going to look at the equation, so parang similar siya sa dito natin isulat. Parang similar siya sa x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So, so this is equation of a circle. But look at the r here. R is negative. So remember, if the radius is negative, so if r is negative, then it has no graph. So meaning to say, hindi siya ellipse, hindi din siya circle. Wala siyang graph. Okay. In addition, you might you might be confused why can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. Continue tayo. Now, if you notice, after dito sa ating second to the last step, itong final equation rather, x, the quantity of x minus 5 over 4 square plus the quantity of y plus 3 over 2 square is equal to negative 19 over 16. And if you're going to compare to the four uh, standard forms of four conic sections, it is similar to circle, which is the quantity of x minus h square plus y minus the quantity of y minus k square is equal to r square. But take note that for squares, no, for circles, there are still conditions. Meron din tatlong conditions to determine what would be the graph of that equation through the radius. And remember, if the radius is greater than 0, I am not talking now about the discriminant, but I'm talking about the radius. If the radius or r is greater than 0 or positive, then the graph would be circle. I hope you can still remember that. If r is equal to 0, then the graph would be a point only. But if the radius or r is negative, then it has no graph. And since in our final equation, r here is negative because of negative 19 over 16. So therefore, we can say that it has no graph. Ang equation na ito ay walang graph because of its negative value. Since it is under circle and since its r is negative, so nagiging no graph siya. Did you understand? Are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Naiintindihan or naguguluhan for now?
Medyo nagugulan, sir.
What part of the solution is confusing?
Sir, paano po nakuha yung 25/16 doon?
25/16. Okay. Remember, completing the square, I think nahirapan because of fraction. Di ba? Meron dito tayong 5/2. 5/2. Dito oh. 5/2 and di ba? The rule is whatever the value of b, you need to divide it by 2, then square. Diba? So example, kung ang sa gitna natin dito, sa gitna is 10. So 10 divided by 2 magiging 5. Sana yun? So 10 divided by 2 magiging 5. Then we are going to square that. So magiging 25. So dito kasi 5/2 divided by 2. 5/2 divided by 2, and if you are going to divide 5/2 by 2, magiging 5/4 yan. 5/4. Then square that. 5 is 25, then 4 is 16. The rule is just the same yung sa mga diniscuss nating completing the square. What makes it confusing because the given is in fraction form. So go back doon paano mag-divide ng fraction. At kung nahihilo pa rin, you can message me later para ma-clarify ko sa'yo ha. Hindi ko na siya in-include dito because I assume that pabalik-balik kasi yung ano natin, yung completing the square. So, hindi ko na siya sinama. Ang nagpapahirap lang because of fraction. So again ha, kung nahirapan pa rin, kung sino man yung nagtanong sa akin or meron pang gustong magtanong, pwede kayong mag-message mamaya para mas ma-elaborate ko. But the process was entirely the same as what we had discussed about completing the square last time. Okay, another question.
Sir,
Yes.
may question na po ako, sir. Kapag
Yes.
face-to-face po ba, sir, allowed po ba kami gumamit ng scientific calculator?
For now, based doon sa ano natin, sa mga na-discuss, for now, hindi pa muna. Kung ganito ang mga lesson. If ang topic natin kailangan talaga ng calculator, then I will allow you to use. Pero if it is computation only, hindi siya kahit big numbers pero kailangan lang siyang i-calculate manually, then I will not allow you to use scientific calculator or even calculator, simple calculator. Kung kailangan na yung mga log talaga or yung mga hindi na siya hindi na siya ma-solve manually, then I will allow you to use. But if not, then hindi pa rin.
Sige, sir. Thank you po.
You're welcome. Meron pang tanong? Okay, I think it's already time. We will just continue this tomorrow and I'm excited to see you on Tuesday next week. Tuesday and Wednesday. Volunteer for this week, for today. Sino ang mag-screenshot?